Acho, how does Baker come across after comments on earning players' respect?
He comes across truthful and authentic, man. It's time for me to defend Baker Mayfield from haters. And I understand why you would hate Baker Mayfield. I get it. Based on his play, you might look at Baker Mayfield and be like, Baker Mayfield, you're not doing enough. But let me remind you, Baker Mayfield is a career overachiever. That's who Baker Mayfield is.
Okay.
Physically underwhelming, but performance-wise, he overachieves every single time. Becomes a Texas Tech Red Raider as a walk-on. Starts there, overachieves. Goes from Texas Tech to the University of Oklahoma, leads them to the college football playoffs, but more importantly for himself, wins a Heisman Trophy, overachieves. Goes to Cleveland as the #1 overall pick. And within 3 seasons, takes the Browns to a playoff game, wins a playoff game, something the Cleveland Browns hadn't done since 1994, winning a playoff game, hadn't been to the playoffs since 2002. Overachieves. Baker Mayfield is a career overachiever. So what Baker Mayfield is trying to say is, hey, I'm going to go earn your respect. And let's keep in mind, he's earned the respect of his peers at every single level, at every single stop. Now, he might lose your respect, too, after he earns it. Let's not get it twisted.
Okay.
But he going to earn it first. As a rookie, he earned our respect because he won 6 games. But remember, it's not as though he started all 16.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield trotted out there, won 6 games as a rookie, had a phenomenal rookie season, especially by the metrics of the Cleveland Browns. Sophomore year, as he said in that interview himself, he slumped. We all witnessed it. But by his 3rd year, under his 4th head coach in Cleveland, 11 wins, playoff win, playoff appearance. So realistically speaking, Baker Mayfield's an overachiever. How do we know? Because we're talking about him right now.
Brother.
We're talking about a Cleveland Browns quarterback. We never talked about Colt McCoy, except when he got a concussion and his father and his wife made some phone calls. We never talked about Brady Quinn. Not in this capacity. We sure as heck didn't talk about Brandon Weeden. I was on the roster then. I know that. We didn't talk about Jason Campbell. Didn't talk about Seneca Wallace. We didn't talk about these players.
Whoa.
Didn't talk about Deshaun Kaiser.
Whoa.
Exactly.
You are digging.
I'm digging.
Bodies.
We didn't talk about those guys.
Wow.
But we're talking about Baker Mayfield, not because of his commercials exclusively. No. We're talking about Baker Mayfield because he's given us something by his play to talk about. Baker Mayfield has made the Browns relevant again. Baker Mayfield earned our respect. He earned our attention. He earned our voice. He earned our A block of our show. So, 2 days in a row. So, Baker Mayfield, to me, earns our respect. He will continue to earn his teammates' respect. He comes off as truthful, authentic, and I love it.
Man, there was a song a few years ago. It was a one-hit wonder. I hate to do it to you, dude. But you remember that song? It was like, word on the street, you a suspect. Or something like that. He a suspect. He is so suspicious to me, Baker Mayfield. And I'm going to raise my hand. I'm not a hater of Baker Mayfield because I don't know Baker Mayfield. Only had one encounter with Baker Mayfield, and it was a positive encounter. Rookie, marketing, symposium, all that stuff. No issue with Baker Mayfield. If I see him, my hand will be extended far out to say hello, respect to you, Baker Mayfield, for your accomplishments. But as a player, and for me doing my job, man, stop playing. This dude keeps crying about people not respecting him. Let's start with the excuses. They're not reasons, excuses of why Baker Mayfield continues to feel disrespected when in reality his play doesn't deserve full respect. Baker Mayfield thinks it's about the coaches. He thinks it's about the teams. He thinks it's about the teammates. He thinks it's about the situation. He thinks it's about the circumstances. He never thinks it's about him. Give me that entire interview and raise your hand, Baker Mayfield, when you said me first in terms of accountability. But let's go all the way back when Baker Mayfield, as you said, was overachieving, and then, boy, did he achieve. Remember the first time he felt disrespected? What was it? Texas Tech. Remember hearing about that. Disrespect me, protect. No, you're not. You're not good enough, bruh. We don't want you. Then all of a sudden TCU and Coach Patterson, and they start going at that back and forth. Then it gets to the league. You #1 overall pick. Stop wearing this like boulder on your shoulder and this chip like, oh, everybody hates me. And I'm this classic underachiever, overachiever, whatever you want to call it. Hugh Jackson comes in the fold. Hugh Jackson's a bad coach by record. Baker Mayfield has a good season by a rookie standard. But I feel disrespected. You got 6 wins, dude. Take your 6 wins and shut it. Now, all of a sudden, it's the Browns. You fast forward. What happened to Odell? What happened to all the situations? You had a great running game, great tight ends. You had great receiving core. All of a sudden, all of that becomes the issue with Baker Mayfield. Excuses, excuses, excuses. Baker Mayfield straight up confused, bro. This is my problem with Baker Mayfield. When you have a record in your career of 6 wins, 6 wins, 6 wins, when is 666 ever good or lucky? It's not. But this dude gets on the couch and sits there comfortably saying, I don't care if my next set of teammates like me or not. Because all that matters is my actions if I win ball games. Well, then guess what? Stop talking about it. I hate when people try to talk themselves out of action. He's sitting up there giving us more words, more rhetoric about something that is action-based. All you got to do is win those 11 games you won that one year, do that again. Back up good performances with good performances. Then we ain't got to hear you talk. Because every time we hear you talk, you sound confused.
Sel, the reason he's talking right now is the offseason, big dog, and he's not the starter. So what is Baker Mayfield doing? He's reminding everybody of what's to come.
What, 6 wins?
I got to go out there and earn their respect. We scoff at 6 wins, and I understand scoffing at 6 wins.
3 times.
I would understand Bill Gates might scoff at your bank account. He might scoff at mine, but it ain't nothing to scoff about if you sitting in Marcellus Wiley's house.
Oh, low standards.
Standards set by those that came before you.
Okay.
When I look at the Cleveland Browns, and I really implore all of you to do this, this will change your view of Baker Mayfield forever when you do this. How many wins are all these Browns quarterbacks winning on average? And how many wins is Baker Mayfield winning a season?
Let's go.
Because we say 6 wins, 6 wins, 11 wins, 6 wins.
6, 6, 6.
Baker Mayfield on average with these Browns, they win in 7.3 games. Call it 7 if you want to round it down. Brian Hoyer on average was winning 5. Tim Couch was winning 4. Trent Dilfer was winning 4. Derek Anderson was winning 3. Look at the other Browns quarterbacks, and this is just a list of guys who have played enough games for me to quantify them on the list. How many did Johnny Manziel win? I will wait. So if you really want to talk bad about Baker Mayfield, you have to know what you're talking about.
Ooh.
Baker Mayfield is an overachiever in Cleveland. Because what is achievement in Cleveland? 5 wins, 4 wins, 4 wins, 3 wins, 2 wins on average, and Baker shows up and gives you 7. Achievement is 4 or 5. Baker is at 7. So even in Cleveland, Baker is overachieving. Can we at least get that right? Now, if you want to now look at Baker Mayfield's ceiling and say that's the new floor, I get it. So, we talk about this all the time. My favorite part of the show is this conversation that's about to come up. When we relate the sports world to familial. You want your son, I'm going to tug at his heartstrings.
Here you go, trying to get me. MJ type.
You want your son to stand on your shoulders, you have said.
Hell yeah, right? Stand on my shoulders. Don't walk in my shoes. Stand on my shoulders.
I love it, I love it, I love it. Because those that come after us should stand on the shoulders of those that came before us. However, while standing on their shoulders, we should not scoff at them and look down on them because we own their shoulders. Meaning, Baker Mayfield has elevated the Cleveland Browns. I don't mind if Deshaun Watson is now going to come in and stand on Baker Mayfield's shoulders. But we shouldn't scoff at what Baker Mayfield did. I'm not going to scoff at you for getting out of Compton and going to Columbia, even though Marcellus, even though MJ might level you up and go Columbia. You know what? I'm going to get a PhD, Dad. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to host my own show by myself. I don't need no Acho sitting here trying to help carry me. I'm going to host my own show by myself.
That show going to suck, son.
But point being,
what?
Yes, people will come and do greater.
Okay.
Deshaun should go and do greater.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't scoff at what Baker Mayfield did, because I ain't going to scoff at what you did, because you elevated. Just because somebody will continue to elevate, I'm not going to scoff at what Marcellus, you elevated, big dog.
Okay.
You went from Compton to Columbia. Baker Mayfield went from no wins to the playoffs. I understand that the playoffs is not a doctorate from Harvard. I understand that Columbia might not be a PhD from Harvard.
We doing this?
It's Columbia nonetheless.
Oh, okay.
Can we clap?
Oh, I love the empathetic hands when they come out from Acho. That's when you know he's talking that love language. Look, dog, you ever been around some people and they laughing? Ask yourself one question. Are they laughing with you or laughing at you? Baker Mayfield, when people are talking, as you said, Baker Mayfield in the offseason, he's just talking because it's the offseason. He got to remind people. Yeah, and people are talking about you, but are they talking good about you or are they talking bad about you? Sometimes you can misconstrue the same thing that is happening. Baker Mayfield's used to hearing good things about himself. So now when he hears things about himself, he's probably assuming that they're good. No, they're not, Baker Mayfield. You are living in denial. And this is what you want to talk about Compton, you want to talk about me growing up. Let me tell you something I had to learn early, and no one was teaching me this in my surroundings, in my environment. There are two standards out there. There's a relative standard that is just coming through osmosis, through your family, through your culture, the culture in your home, what you guys are being told and reinforced. That's relative. Based on what mama and daddy went through, they're going to teach you that. And then there's an objective standard that the world is going to teach you if your mama and daddy ain't handling this. And it's going to say, I don't give a damn what you learned at home. This is how it is. So there's a difference. Baker Mayfield, you keep trying to make him have that relative standard. Based on all the sorry Browns before you at quarterback, Baker, congratulations. And I'm here to remind him that this is the NFL, and you are judged on an objective standard that is league-wide. So you can't compare him to bad quarterbacks in the organization so he can look good. Nah, B, you're not escaping like that. If that was the standard for me growing up, guess what I would have done?
What's that?
Just got my GED or just graduate high school and then tapped out and say, I'm going to go get the job at the light company, the phone company like my family was doing all day. Say, hey, relative to you guys, this is it. I'm doing what you did, but just a little more. That ain't the standard, bruh. And I'm not comparing myself to them, but I knew there was a higher objective standard out there that no matter what household I was from, no background I was from, no matter what city I was from, they were going to look at me and say, success is this or success is not that. Mm-hmm. Baker Mayfield needs to know, league-wide, 7 wins ain't getting it. That ain't cutting it. That's why he doesn't have a job right now. He knows that. Yeah, he's on the hook for $18 million, him and the Cleveland Browns. And that is an arranged marriage that they would love to get out of right now. So all I'm telling you is be careful when people are laughing, dog. Are they laughing with you or laughing at you?
I like your take, big dog. I love this show. You know that. Y'all know that.
You do.
Here's what we have to come to terms with.
What?
Baker Mayfield can and could have only done so much.
Don't do that.
We come to those terms in this life, Sel. What do I mean? Nobody looked at you at 21 years of age, 22 years of age, and said, hey, Marcellus, I want you to become a multi-billionaire.
No.
Nah.
No.
By the grace of God, become a millionaire, maybe a multi-millionaire, maybe eclipse that $100 million mark, $200 million mark. But we didn't look at you and say, become a multi-millionaire because of where you were coming from. Now, I will look at the Jones family, Jerry Jones family, and say, hey, I would expect your children to become multi-billionaires because of where you are coming from.
I like that. I
understand that based upon where you start, you can probably only go so far during the duration of your span, whatever your span is. I don't know that you can become a multi-billionaire. Maybe you can get Jeff Bezos money, maybe not. But I know you can go so far based on where you started from. Baker Mayfield, realistically speaking, is only going to be able to go so far based on where he started from. Baker Mayfield showed up and the Browns were 1-31. That's not even Compton. That's the village of Niger. That's the village of Isukwoto. That's the Abia State. That's the village of Nigeria.
The one that burned when you went home?
That one. 1-31 ain't Compton, big dog.
Oh, I know.
1-31. Baker Mayfield got out the village and got to America. He got to a playoff game. And guess what?
What?
He won it. So don't even tell me, Sel, that, like, he didn't do enough. He got the Browns from the villages to America and made some stacks. Now, if Deshaun is going to take that baton stick, blind handoff, if Deshaun's going to take that baton and run with it, let him run with it. But I'm not going to look at Baker Mayfield and scoff at what he did. It is relative. I understand that you can't compare the Baker Mayfield to everybody else in the NFL, or you can compare him and he will fall short. But at least look where he came from, Sel. Because realistically speaking, we look at Lamar Jackson. The Baltimore Ravens won a Super Bowl in 2012. The Browns hadn't been to the playoffs since 2002. Josh Allen makes it to the playoffs, but the Bills were in the playoffs in 2017 or 18, if I am not mistaken. The Browns hadn't made it to the playoffs since 2002. Judge a man by the what? Distance traveled. Look how far Baker traveled, big dog, and you don't want to properly assess the distance that this man traveled? You know how far he went?
Did he?
Further than Lamar. You know how far he went? Further than Josh. You know how far he went? Even further than Patrick Mahomes, relatively speaking, because the Chiefs were 12-4 without Patrick Mahomes. What were the Browns without Baker? 1-31. 1. Judging by your distance travel, man, got me fired.
Man, I like some of that. I can't lie.
Like
There's some issues with it. There's some issues with it because Baker Mayfield, where he came from, was the #1 overall draft selection. We all got drafted, you know, that I'm talking about or in this conversation. You, me, Baker. Mm-hmm. And we know we came from different places based on when you were drafted, right? What number were you drafted?
204.
Okay, I was 52. 52 felt better than 204. #1? Lord, dog. Antoine Smith, who was drafted in the first round my year for my team, the Buffalo Bills, I think was 26. So, you know, I was double him, half of me. Dog, I was sitting there, and I'm going to tell the truth, jealous as hell. Because they would take us into the same room and they say, Marcellus, I need you to sign these jerseys. I would have to sign 100. He would have to sign 1,000. Most people would say, I won. No, because he was more in demand. I had to do the rookie cards. I had 7. He had 70. I was jealous. I was like, dog, the rose petals that are laid for the #1 overall pick, that's where you came from. Don't give me this whole story about your lineage of when I was walking on this program, walking up. The NFL reset all that and said, all you guys come from where you were drafted. And Baker Mayfield, I hate this standard for him. And you are buying into it and selling it. The father standard. You know me, I pride myself in being a great father. I need to work on being a great husband, my wife would say, but I am a tremendous father. And one thing I would say is this. I remember Chris Rock was like, some dude walk up to you, be like, man, I take care of my kids. He's like, what you want, a cookie? Oh, I ain't never been to jail. And? Like, Baker Mayfield's like, oh, well, you know what? I did make it to the playoffs. Okay, and what else? You're the #1 overall pick. Well, 6 wins, 6 wins, 6 wins. Now we got problems, Raw. You got arrested right there. You went to jail that time. And the other time they kept you in the holding tank questioning you. Baker Mayfield cannot be held to a different standard because he was drafted at the highest level. And he was drafted first of that level. So a guy who was 22nd, say this again, Marcellus, and slow. He's 22nd or worse in passer rating, yards per game, completion percentage, and touchdowns. And you were #1 overall? Come on, big dog. Even you casually, in your clothes you don't want to wear, got to agree, that's a little suspect.